Hello, everyone. Welcome to Prime Take. Today, we are having a special conversation, a conversation that surrounds how Ghana sports used to be the most dominant thing simply because talents in obscurity were found through school sporting activities. But over the years, some have described the school sports as a system that is dead. Others have said it has taken a complete nosedive. While there are those who actually believe that school sports is still the area that has the potential of getting us talents to feed into our various sporting disciplines. One man who was in charge of physical education at the Ghana Education Service, Mr. Emmanuel Dormenyah, is here to speak to us. Have a clear understanding of what they were doing that brought school sports and produced the talents that we were witnesses and what is not actually happening right here. As I mentioned, Emmanuel Dormenyah is my guest today on Prime Take. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother.
I
It's
appreciate
been a long time.
It's been a long time. How are you doing?
Sure. That's great. We are living.
Hope everything's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, nice to have you and to finally see you after such a long time. I remember we did the SHS Sports Festival together in Cape Coast.
Sure. 2017.
That was it?
Precisely.
6 years ago. Interesting. Nice to finally have a conversation surrounding school sports once again. Even after 6 years, since 2017, we had several conversations about this very area, and
Sure.
We need to have a clear understanding of what's actually happening. But first of all, let's have a perfect picture of who Emmanuel Dormenyah is and how you got into the physical education space when everyone is chasing the other areas.
Oh, thank you very much. And yeah, simply, this is Emmanuel Dormenyah. I was born on a Thursday, so yeah.
Okay.
I was Christian Emmanuel. Then, you know, as usual, the family name, Ghanaian tradition, Dormenyah. So I'm Emmanuel Dormenyah. I'm from a small village. No, a town.
You know what's going on?
No, it's not a village,
Okay.
it's a town because Ghana to this one I say village.
Yeah.
Yeah. Few kilometers north of Hawaii,
Okay.
Likpemate.
Okay.
Currently the new Guang district.
Okay.
That's the capital.
Okay.
So
Wow.
should I say village? No.
It's a semi-village. Come on.
So honestly, I was born and bred there. My parents are now late.
Okay. Sorry
They
about
were
that.
basically farmers. My father was a very astute blacksmith that
Okay.
produces guns, pistols, etc. Yeah. They're all late now. I started school there in Likpemate, RC Primary. Then I had to join my uncle in Ketekrachi. Then from Ketekrachi, I was transferred to Krachin Kwanta. He was an educationist too, a head
Oh,
teacher.
okay.
So I ended my middle school in Kwanta, start the then common entrance to the secondary school. I passed. I was given government scholarship. But because with him and my talent in sports and sports performance, the then Nkwanta Secondary School said no, they would rather take me on and give me bursary instead of going to Hohwa Secondary School with government scholarship.
Okay.
And more so, my uncles too, I would have been leaving him. So they could not even condone, and I had to remain in Kwanta. So I started in Kwasek. By then it was a new school, it was in the third year.
Okay.
So I was there, then finally my uncle got transferred to Kolong,
Okay.
also a town near Hohwe. But the same school then wasn't the type that I could have continued that. I got to Form 3 in Nkwanta Secondary School in Kwasek. So I had to go back home to the small village and then complete at Lisek, Likpe Secondary School.
So your education was more of switching from one area to the other?
Yeah, sort of, brief. So after the Likpe Secondary School, I got admission to St. Francis Training College. But all along the line, I would always sports prefect because I combine effectively sports with academics.
Okay.
Sometimes you're somewhere camping, then you come at 2 weeks to exams. You have to learn hard and write and pass. So I wasn't solely for sports. I actually like academics too.
As well.
So that was how it came about. Franco was a sports captain. Then after Franco was posted to a village, the border town, Leklebi Dugan.
Okay.
Yeah, I taught there for just 1 year. They moved me to Hohwe City itself and detached me as a PE teacher in some schools, though I was attached to Holy Rosary Middle School. And from there, my second advisor saw me one day and said, no, you are very good, you are doing well. why don't you further? So I believe I have 1 more year to serve before I go, so you can go. So after serving for 2 years, I left for Winneba.
Oh, okay.
Where I actually did sports.
Okay.
So I did my diploma there, completed, and then I was posted to first Winneba Senior High School. Okay. We realized that in Winneba, no, in Central Region, because of the advantage they have with the sports college, they always took the first 5, the top best, and make sure they remain in the Central Region, then the rest can go. So I didn't know how come. I was just posted to Winneba Senior High School. Though I didn't choose the place. So I attended an interview, and I was actually placed on the timetable. Okay. I went and saw it. One day I went back to campus, we were clearing something, then a colleague of mine from Kumasi came and said, hey, you are still here, they posted you in Kumasi, they posted you. I said, what? So I took the advantage to go and then see what it was. And indeed, Ashanti Region had picked me up and posted me. I went to the HR, I said, you? Yes. They opened the ledger, they said, you have been posted to 2 different schools, so Juasu Day Senior High School and Efficacy Secondary Commercial School. I didn't know anywhere around the place.
Was it after you were done with Winneba?
Yes, after I was done with Winneba, we were to be posted. So Central took me, Ashanti took me. So I settled for Ashanti. Why, I can't tell anyway. So,
but there should be a reason.
Well, I wasn't sure at the time because I took Volta Region as my posting place. But I found myself in Central, I found myself in Ashanti. I actually consulted one of my tutors at the training college then. So you can adapt to changes, so go. Well, I wanted to stay close to my mom. Okay. Yeah, I'm close to her, so he said, you can go, you can adapt. When they didn't bring you to the Volta Region, you can make it. So I decided to be in Ashanti, Efficacy Senior High School. So the one who was in charge of the posting to say, okay, you, just say it's a day school. You let me put you to Efficacy Senior High School. So I went. And for close to 10 years, massively, I brought sports alive in that school. You know, Ashanti and Tako, it wasn't easy. There was no single year within the period that I did not qualify with its personals. Sometimes
were you the sports master in the
I was the sports master, PE tutor. I taught PE and then biology at the time. So for almost 10 years, I decided to further. Okay. So I went to do my degree. Immediately after that, I came back. So I was posted to Kumasi Technical Institute, where I worked. Within a year, my people told me, no, I've done enough in the classroom, so I should be a district PE coordinator. So I had nothing to say. I said, wherever my service I needed, I was ready to work. So they sent me first to Mansun Kwanta, that's Amanche West, in Ashanti region. I worked for 2 years. They said, no, you are doing so well. There's vacancy at Tepa, Afanu North, Ashanti. So they posted me there, and I continued my work. So 2004, I left Mansun Kwanta to Tepa. So I was in Tepa up to 2015, where I spent most of my time as district PE coordinator, Ashanti Regional Sports Coach, athletics, volleyball, all that. In fact, I was high ranking within the priest. Then, as it went on, I was upgrading myself too. So I got to the rank of deputy director.
Deputy director of?
Education.
Education.
Yes. But I was still with sports. Okay. So any director that came, looking at my work, gave me an additional responsibility. So throughout my being district PE coordinator, I had additional responsibility. So when I got to the deputy rank, I was deputy for finance and administration. Okay. With sports still attached. Then I went to statistics, research, monitoring, evaluation, deputy director, still with sports. Then finally they sent me to HR, human resource development and management. I went there, still as sports and deputy. Then finally, God bless me. I attended the interview I was due, and I got promoted to directorship. Okay. All in Tepa. So I was posted to Sechirafran Plains as a district director of education.
Okay.
So that was why I started at full administrator. Not long, one code meeting, my regional director just said, you, I'm posting you to the move. Go to Adansi Saudi the BRC. I was looking at him, said, no, you go. Take over from so and so. So I got myself ready, bag and baggage. I went to New BRC from such a fine place. That was Drobonso. So I got settled there, started work. It wasn't easy. Then one day we were at court meeting. That's Conference of District Directors of Education in Takrady. So I was just picked up by the then headquarters authority. No, you accompany the Director General to sports festival in this. I said, who am I to complain? So I had to cut short that program and then accompany the Director General to the place. Supervise the work, everything was done. Came back. On the office when I had a letter that me transferred to the headquarters to take over physical education and sports as director in charge of sports and national coordinator of PE. Well,
that's basically the journey.
That is how the journey. So, but before then, just before getting to directorship, I went back to school again and did my master's in administration and management, education administration management. So that was how I got to the headquarters and got myself into the highest position of sports in the country.
Sports in the country. That's quite an interesting one. And when you were in school, which activities were you taking part in? Footballer,
I was an all-rounder, but I did more of athletics and the hand games. I did little in football.
Were they long distance races or
No.
the sprint ones?
Short distances, 100 meters, 200 and 400. But my specialized area was 400, where I set a record when I was in Winnipeg for the tertiary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which record was this? Can you remember the time? It's been
long.
long.
44.59 at the time.
Wow.
I was being used as a beginning pick at the time because our institution were trying to research into...
Was it the 800 meters or which race that you did the 44?
400 meters.
400 meters?
Yes.
Wow.
You know, at the time...
This should be qualify you to world championships.
Oh, I was good at the time. You see my length.
You
see my legs.
The height is even there.
So, no, at the time, something helped me. My department, the lecturers were trying to see whether 400 meters can be a sprint race. They were researching, because people were saying 400 meters is a sprint race.
Yes.
You know, 100 meters sprint, 200 meters
200
sprint. So I didn't know I was being used as a guinea pig. They would set people there, 4 guys. So they would do 4 by 100, and I would do 400 flat. So they would change at each quarter.
Yeah.
So they arrange us, yes, are you ready? Go and warm up. We go, pam, and I take off. And I had to sprint to the end. So I was sprinting.
They were changing the baton.
They were changing the baton, 4 people against me. So I was sprinting. Immediately I take off. By the time I take the first curve, I've taken that guy. The stretch, I'm gone. The next curve, I'm gone. If it's about almost always a time, 40 meters to the finish, then they'll start catching me up. No, we did this severally.
Because at that point, you've lost the gas in you.
We did this severally. So I was told, okay, now why don't you slow down here a bit and then coast for the next 200 meters and finish?
Yeah, hard.
One, Mr. Baba, he's late now. Professor Pufa, he's late now. And then a third one, those who were the anchor of that program. So it wasn't a surprise when I made the record that year for the tertiary, 400 meters flat.
But during your days, how would you describe the school sport then?
No, school sport was very vibrant. To the extent that though it was academics, you still want to be there. You know, and school, sports were holistic from the very scratch. And mind you, when we talk about physical education and sports, that course, it's a course on itself. Okay. Every teacher, if you don't pass that paper, you will not get your set A. You know, those days, It's a prerequisite. It's a core of the whole general program.
Around which year was this?
Actively, I was in school, let's say 80 to 90, 95 thereabout. I completed training in 85, Franco. And this was on, because if you don't pass P, you'll be referred. You cannot take the set A. So those days, every teacher in every classroom you find yourself, P is on the timetable.
Yeah.
You take your kids out and do something on PE. And every teacher was comfortable doing something. You change, your kids change, you do PE, you come back to the classroom. Senior high school, no exception. For the senior high schools, so we had the technical personnel there who are all over the place. So PE at that time was very, very high on the table. And so we did. We made PE so interesting that every child wanted to be involved. Government supplied balls to schools. We had the equipment. Every school had a field, because you cannot build a school without a football field attached. Goggisburg, you remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
And even it cuts across. Yeah.
That is it. But today they are even using school fields for other projects. And teaching of PE in the training college is almost out. Because those who are being churned out now, they have basically no knowledge in PE. And as we went along, there should have been a period that they should start feeding the basic schools with the technical men. So each basic school, or as it were, GHS primary, should have a PE personnel who should organize issues. At our time, like I said, in my very second year in the teaching, when I entered, I was detached, that PE detached teacher. And I did work in 10 schools. Though as I attached to a particular school, I organized sports, made sure that things went well in 10 schools within the area. And there were a lot of us, PE detached teachers. That was even before I went to specialize in physical education at Winneba. So the training I had at college, being a very good sports person, so they identified us as such. And those PE, sports was okay. Because once you are a technical person, aside just running and jumping, you know the skill, the technicalities involved. Is this how to do this? I want a long jumper. I'll line them up, put a line, hey, jump, double step, you jump, and then I look at the strength in your leg and the measure. So you easily pick kids that you go and do this. You teach the person, just look at the structure, and you develop talents everywhere. So these are some of the things that are lacking now. And I don't know.
How did we get it wrong? Considering all what you're telling me.
You see, our policymakers, sometimes policies are put across without getting to the technocrats. For instance, people are complaining that people attending churches is coming down. Why? How do you take religious and moral education out of the curriculum? Where is the morality? You understand? Those days, especially the institutions that have school, the churches, Catholic, I attended Catholic school throughout. And Franco is an astute Catholic training college. So, that thing is embedded in you. But today, it's like certain things are being pulled out.
The 10 Commandments.
How do you want to develop sports, and yet you kill sports at the basics? Suleiman Tari, I was on the bench. Do you know how he was picked for the junior team?
Tell me.
We were playing. Ashanti was playing, that Milo games, Ashanti was playing the North. The Northerners are very strong. And Sule, if you study him very well, he's a bit gawky. He pushed a ball from the center circle, 1-2, and gave a shot, and it was a goal. But then when we are doing this, the national coaches, they come around to scout. This was the basis on which they picked Suleiman Tari, because the boy had powerful shot in the left foot. So the guy consulted, this boy, so he's very young. He was then in Okes, or Senior High School. Yeah. That was how he got, the eyes caught him. And there he is, from school, direct from school. Not to talk about the SCN and the guys who actually brought that Black Star to the world stage. They were all our products. So you see, now, most of the periods, most of the schools, the administrators, senior high school and others, they want to go more for academics than sports. I know if you have like that, the lazy sports teachers easily give their periods off for other maths, English, the core subjects to be taught. Because P is on the timetable, but gradually it's being relegated to the...
So tell me one thing. You just spoke about something quite interesting, which has to do with how Shule Muntari, one of the players who has played 3 World Cups for Ghana, yes. 2006, 2010, and 2014, he was found through the school sports system.
Milo Games.
Milo Games.
Yes.
There are also other sporting disciplines, as in athletics, as in even this
volleyball, basketball.
And all that. And I remember when I was in secondary school, in as much as I was a terrible player.
That's right. But you played.
Yeah, I did.
Irrespective.
In fact, I even played a bit of golf. I played a bit of hockey. So
why? Because the instinct was kept up in you. Your sports teacher will make things available.
Mr. Emmanuel Peter, that was his name. I still remember his name.
That is it.
It's been like 15 years, but I don't remember.
That is, you see, the interest was there, and the people were interested, so the teachers were serious. Sometimes not even a technical person, but just a teacher who is a performer will take you through. But these days, no, not at all. Everything is academics. And in the academics, we are not seeing it. Because for a child, right, to have the energy, the stamina, or whatever it is to go, you need to be physically fit. This is a sound mind is found in a sound body. So it isn't for nothing that our, predecessors, so that's our forefathers, made sure that we combine academics with sports. It's an integral part of the academic program. But once it's being relegated, that is it. You go and sit down, you can't even walk. No, the kids are too feeble because they don't exercise. If you are young and you don't exercise, what are you doing to yourself?
I'm sure when you were in the system, served as district coordinator and all that, I'm sure probably you saw stuff that kind of suggested that the school sports system was taking a nosedive. What did you do as a technical man to advise that if we don't take our time, within the next 5, 6, 7, 10 years, we'll be losing massive talents?
Thank you. We always had federation meetings. The whole tanker men in the country and women, we met annually. Then it came biennally. We meet and discuss sports for about a week. The national coordinator will assemble all PE personnel. Then we go and sit for about a week to discuss and give proposal. These proposals never got anywhere. It was something we were doing at the time. But when we realized that there was nothing coming out, because imagine the whole country, PE personnel will meet. We divide ourselves into groups, the various disciplines, then we interrogate the system as it was and where we are going to, what we need to do. All these things were done. But, the policy makers and the politicians, let me be frank, this time around, we are not being ruled by the National Development Agenda. We are being ruled by manifesto. You understand? So now say when I come as a leader of this country, as a president, this and that is what I'm going to do, whether it conforms with the National Development Plan or not. And sometimes we promise so much that once we even forget some of the promises we did.
That's quite an interesting one.
Yes. And therefore, when we allow ourselves to be, ruled by a manifesto of a group of people, not the National Development Agenda, then, for instance, I was fortunate to be a member of the NYA board, National Youth Authority, when I was in office. We realized that no, the youth, the teeming youth, need some centers, because at the time, how many sports stadia do we have? So we sought out to build 10, we called them at the time, youth
resource
centers. We started very well, we made sure things were going on, then it curtailed. No, actually, that board was dissolved when the second term of the president came. I was no more a member. I had then left office to Nanabi has left. Yusuf, the current Minister for Sports, is now an honorable MP.
Yeah. He's
left the board. Our board chair then was Francisca Otin, the youngest MP at the time.
Yeah.
She was the board chair. Slightete, English Amangfro, was the CEO. And we were very busy building these stadia. We call them youth resource centers, yes, across the country. The Volta one hurriedly was put into place for the last Independence Day. Yeah, these were the structures were massive. These were the structures we were putting up. But it died down. But as I speak now, Hajide, Honorable, is trying to pick the one after the other to make sure he completes it. My Bolga Festival should have taken place in that facility because we were hopeful they would.
Yeah, I remember after the 2017 festival,
exactly.
You were moving the next festival to Bolga.
Exactly. We were hopeful it to be ready because the rate at which we were going, then suddenly the contractors, whether they started misbehaving or because we knew there was money at NYA to be able to do these things. Dilly-dally.
Would you say it is due to lack of political will for some of these things to happen? Because it's the politicians who take the decisions.
That's what I'm saying, that some decisions are taken without the technocrats.
No, even if the technocrats is involved and the technocrat offers an advice, and because the politician has got a political interest, definitely he will have to take a political decision.
So you want me to tell you that? You know it.
But that's the obvious question that I'm asking.
No, you see,
you have been there, you have interacted with them, and you have a perfect picture of how the system was and how we can get better.
The question is, if we have sought out to do that project, and we gave ourselves time, by the end of the tenure of the first term of the president, we would have commissioned all the 10 recreation resource centers. And if it didn't happen, so the question is, why? You understand? Why? What happened? So we leave it as it is.
No, we cannot leave it as it is.
No, definitely. No, I say I would do it. At the end of the day, I didn't do it. Or I curtailed. So,
as a national PE coordinator and director of sports at the Ghana Education Service,
headquarters, yes.
What were the major things you put on the table for the development of school sports in Ghana?
Thank you. When I took over office, already I was one of them at the grassroots.
Yes.
So I need specifically what to happen at the grassroots. So I needed to empower all PE personnel across the country. So I met my regional coordinators, told them what to do to meet all the district, municipal district coordinators. You know, we are well structured such that when you say AB at the headquarters, it goes down to the last person. All right? So we came together. We already were in the system before I got there, so I knew what it was. I thought I was leaving the system because it was becoming bored.
Yeah.
So I became a director, oh, hallelujah. I'm not into administration, so I jumped out for sports. But I made sure in my district, they never lack sports. Equipment were provided. The coordinator, fortunately, was my mate. Imagine you are a district director and the PE coordinator is your mate.
Yeah.
So he lacked nothing. We did all we could, raising our teams and everything. And that went all through. At that point, I thought, oh, I'm not free, I've left sports. Only to be told, hey, go and be the #1 in sports in the country so far as education is concerned. So knowing all that was the background, I climbed up and then started fixing things. For over 10, 15, 20 years, I was the only one who organized capacity building exercise for all the technical men across the regions, across the country. So I divided them into 4. You come, we meet for a week. We go through developmental issues, retrain you, give you modalities, what you should do and what you should not do, and how we could revamp sports. And it was a shocker. And I did this to meet the return to sports after the COVID.
Yes.
I brought all of them round and give them training, retrain them, skill-wise, what have you. I discussed with my director general, he understood me, and they sponsored it. So we made sure, I also made sure that all sporting activities ran. Funding was provided for all sporting activities to run, right from inter-classes, intersections, inter-school, inter-zonals, inter-district to inter-regionals. From 2016 till I left office, we never failed. I remember at the point I was in my office when we were doing the under 13. All the guys were scouting around. I was the local, that's when they came in and said, oh, Charlie, we spotted this boy at so and so and so and so. When I realized the boy was in a village somewhere in Sefi. So they wanted the boy, I said, oh, you relax. So how can we go? Where's the place? I said, sit down. I just called my regional coordinator that I needed this people. Who is in charge of this district? He mentioned, I said, I need him. In my office, within 10 minutes, we contacted the boy and the parents and spoke to them. That was the structure. Sefi, a village in Sefi. Because when we organize my program, a lot of people come around, the coach teams and others, to scout. Yes. This is one example I'm giving you. So I have data. So when we went for these games, I have my own computer, the pictures of the kids, I have data. Calls in there, she will tell you. Because we want to monitor them. We knew this was how we got the Sules, the Asians, and others. So we always monitor. If you get to my office now, you see a lot of data and the kids by picture, by name, by areas. So we did this to revamp sports across until COVID came. And in fact, things were moving up. You remember the Almighty Azamiti? You remember Cape Coast? 2017.
I know.
You realize this boy didn't win the 100 meters at the end of the day.
I still remember. I remember the likes of Sarkodie. I remember the likes of Ansan.
Beautiful.
Gadai.
This boy was not the best. He didn't win the national festival 100 meters.
Even when he was at the University of Ghana, he wasn't one of the.
You got the point. Meaning, at the time, 2017, when I was doing my thing, there were 2 or 3 people better than him.
Yes.
Historically, 13 records were broken in Cape Coast. You remember?
I was there.
13 records in one festival. Records that were 20, 15, 18 years old.
Yeah. There was one record which was like 24 years old.
Beautiful. It took me to do that. So if you ask me what I did, this was what I did. Making sure that sports were holistically revamped from the village, cottage there, up to the top. And the way we did our sports, you see, from the school level, every school in the country, you do interclass. Then you have session, you do intersession. Then every district is divided into zones. You do
Is it a calendar that you provide for them?
Yes, I provide calendar from the headquarters. From day one, the entire year calendar. So my department always produce calendar for the regions to tap from and do their own programs. So it's sad that those days, every we advise that, look, don't concurrently do everything, consult with your other colleagues. So when you're doing football today, that means this officer should be doing football. So we can come around to supervise. So sometimes they'll call director, if you can, this day I'm doing this day I'm doing this, assisting to move, go to central region. Myself, I'm in the north. Just making sure that and they were, happy that the assignment I've given them, they are doing it to the letter. So sometimes they will inform you that, oh, director, on this day, we are here, we are doing our inter-district. The inter-district raises the regional team. If I have time, I go in there, just to watch what is happening, give advice, and then come back. My job is not only to say, though I'm the director administratively, but I have things that I do, and I have things that I do on the field. So honestly, I had them under my armpits. And everybody reported, because every year you give me a report of your activities, which I put together as a report for the unit. And 2020, I got to the headquarters 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2020. We never drop out. Basic, you know, is biennial.
Yeah.
This year, basic, the following year, senior high, basic, senior high, basic, senior high. It performed within 2 years. And then the Almighty Cape Coast grew. I remember that they bunched into my office with cameras. I said, my friend, what is happening? No, that year, we were not to have gone for the festival after all these preparations. No, finally, the FC, the financial controller, saw me on the corridor moving and said, hey, P, you people, are you sure you are going? I said, oh, yes, we will go. I smiled and said, we will go, because I knew what I was doing underground. No, he's the financial controller,
yeah.
But we have the budget officer, the accountant. So I was on her, madam, please. Because I already told the director general that, please don't let it happen in our time that this year we will not go to National Festival. He said, okay, what can we do? I said, no. Just make sure the capitation is paid. One capitation is paid, but then we're about 3 or 4 in arrears, tranches in arrears. Ali, that is exposed, and so they should. The accountant called the controller before me that this is it. We are begging, this is it. So I was sure that something was going to happen. But unfortunately, what happened was not adequate enough. And that meant that maybe I should withdraw. I said, no way. Whatever you can give us, even with 10 cities, let me know. So that if it is only football, only athletics, are going to organize national, because my people have prepared. So he said, okay. I sent my budget, it was cut. I sent it again, adjustment, I sent it, was cut. So when I realized this is what I have, I called my coordinator. They were all then in camp because they already set date and everything. And I said, I will not sit down for this to happen. So I said, okay, what do we do? You know, we're on platform. So I called all the 10 regional coordinators at the time. We started discussing. We cannot hold the festival, hold it like we were planning. Because at my time, I canceled or I changed. You know, we alternated some of the disciplines. If we play volleyball this year, next 2 years, we'll play basketball. And can you imagine? So if there's a volleyball star, that comes to SHS1.
He has to
and
wait.
That year we played, it means, whilst in Form 3, we're going to play basketball. He will not see volleyball again. If it is basketball, by the time we play again, it's also completed, or in the final year, we will not get the time to play. So what are we doing? So I brought all on board. So that alternation, I seized it. So as we were planning, I realized that no, I just called my coordinator. So what we have cannot take us through all. So let's drop some of the events. What do you say? Even they suggest that then let's drop some of the events because we were alternating. We said we're going all.
Yeah.
So let's see. So that's okay. Drop volleyball, drop hockey, drop table tennis. But students are in camp preparing for this. Of course, you have fed them.
The emotional affection, the psychological trauma of asking them to go.
When I realized that this is the only way I uphold that flag of organizing a national festival, sometimes you take decisions and be held responsible. So I told them, okay, let's go ahead. It's me. What do you suggest I should do? They suggested, I said, okay, I'll hold it. Drop volleyball, drop table tennis, drop hockey. Because at the time, hockey to the kids, the equipment were not there. So the information went out. Then people got angry. This man is causing financial loss.
I remember the stories.
I wasn't hearing. A guy in Cape Coast, FM, was blowing the thing. Me, I didn't even hear. You came to my office with machine, say, Charlie, you know what is happening? Listen to me. What interview are you granting to Mufta? I said, no, my boss. Let's grant you an interview. Do you know what is happening? Do you hear what people are saying? I said, oh, is that it? Let's go. And when I spoke, that guy became silent.
You offered the explanation.
Yes, because was I to abandon the whole national festival or drop some of the disciplines? Table tennis, 8 athletes, 4 boys, 4 girls. You understand? Volleyball, maximum 12. So we looked at it and said, no, let's drop. And it was a holistic decision. So people didn't understand. We realized that, sacking or asking these people to go home was not the best, but we had to do it to make sure that we did the festival. So I informed, by then too, I was in a good relationship with the various associations.
Yes.
So I called, hello, we can't do your discipline no, because they will all be there. Some of the heads of the associations come to supervise because I give them the opportunity and even officiate. So I said, table tennis, I'm sorry, we cannot do it. Volleyball, I'm sorry, we cannot do it. Hockey, I'm sorry. He said, what? Director, why? Oh, I said, this is my headache. He said, okay, wait, don't cancel it yet. Within 3 hours, table tennis brought a check. They asked me, how much do I need to be able to retain them? I told them, they brought a check. So I called accountant and said, I've checked for this discipline. Co-op it. Hockey brought a check and equipment immediately that they cannot drop it. We should do it. No, this is it. Because I'm in a very good standing relationship with them. They understood me and said, no. Then the association will sponsor the national festival. It's never happened before. You get my point? It never happened before. And we had the best national festival, as you can witness to.
Yeah, because I remember asking you when you handed over the flag to the Upper East for them to hold. I was like, if Upper East, they don't have any facility, so where are you expecting them to go and organize?
This is another issue. You know, it is all the region that had up-to-date facilities. We broke records in Cape Coast because we had a very beautiful and new tracks and field. If you go to Kumasi, you don't have a problem. Cape Coast, you don't have Tamale, no problem. But some of the areas, Nobolga, I nearly wept. The tracks.
I wanted to go with you.
Yes. No, when it was time for athletics, we were asking tracks to come offload sand so that we'll fill some areas. Meanwhile, we are coming to run. It was not easy. So that year, I told myself, no. Though sports is meant to be rotational from this region to this, we had the time to, but I told them no. I'm going around the country to identify where the facilities are. So until further notice, likely we're building the resource centers. Until then, there are certain regions you cannot host national festival because of the injuries and other things that we suffer. So I was coming up with that. So there'll be specific regions. Likely some of the schools are very good for, if you go to Kumasi like this, Prempeh College or Pokuare, Wesley, they all have. So places like that, we don't have a problem. And the stadium is there for athletics. Even Westco Park, where they do athletics, Prempeh, they were very good. But the stadium was there. So that was what I also thought of doing, so that we kept the injuries. Because the very good ones all got injured. But you saw what happens in Cape Coast. Similar to what happened in Kumasi. As at the time, the Accra Titan was wiped off, even as we speak. So we come to Accra, where we're going? Legon or where?
Or Elwak.
That is it. We went to Elwak, it was like a concrete floor.
Yeah.
The Elwak Titan. So infrastructure is another problem. That's why at the NYA board, we pushed that these facilities should be put in place. And I pray and hope they'll complete all, because Hajide promised, Pius, that they'll finish all. So that alone, and it's multi, basketball court, volleyball court, table tennis, everything is inclusive.
You mentioned something that was quite interesting for me, which has to do with the data of the athletes that you have during your events. Are you able to monitor their progress in their various schools and how you are able to let them come into the national federations and be developed? Did you have anything like that?
I have, fortunately. I tasked all my coordinators to make sure that these people are looked at, because they have only 3 years span. So after that festival, those who were leaving, we monitored this tertiary they went to.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That was how Azamete got there.
Oh, okay. University of Ghana, okay.
We monitored. And then also, when you are doing national festival, the security services, they all come down. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Yes, the security services, the armed forces, air force.
Because I've covered some of them, so I know.
Very well. They also move in there, and we give them the morale. If that's what you can do, good. And a lot of them are doing very, very, very well. Because of this thing that I had with me, having the keys and monitoring the data. You know, I was invited to present the paper in Casablanca on our school sports system. The then Minister for Youth and Sports,
Asiama,
said, Charlie, let's go. I said, okay. We flew in there, and I presented a paper on what we do in Ghana. About 60 countries, the US, Germany, France, UK, name them. And at the end of the day, the way the people clapped, it's like, it is not, most countries do prefer Kobo. You know, they identify some people, they just
like
take
they
them
don't have
and
a
go.
specific structure
Exactly.
of how they want to go about it.
But when they got to our structure is right from the village school, inter-school, inter-session, inter-class, inter-session, inter-school, inter-zonals, inter-district, then inter-regional. So by the time you get that lab, oh, you are polished. Because you go through different coaches who polish you up till that point. Because at the region, for instance, if you're in a regional camp, all your skills are polished. Exactly. Yeah. Your running skill, your playing skill, your jumping skill, your throwing skill, they are all polished. Because at that point, you know, the National Sports Authority, we have seasoned coaches for all the disciplines in each of the regions.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the team up with
I was
us.
just about coming there, where people often say that we lack the technical men to be able to handle these.
No, if you get into the national, the regional team,
yeah,
all the regions, the polish you. And then when you come to the national festival itself, we make sure the right things are done. And we have people all over the place who actually come in to help. So I presented that paper, and then Isiama asked me, so the competition, how is it? I said, boss, we are not we are not a member of the International School Sports Association. How? That association was formed back in 1974 or so. So what do we do? We don't have to register as a member. I said, what? And I would like to say, can you? I said, yes. He said, go for the forms. So at Casablanca, I took the forms, I registered and paid the admission fee. So as I speak now, Ghana has gone international. After all our school activities, national festival, we select him. Every 2 years, we go. And that after the Cape Coast event, you know, Coach Oti Akente were all there. Yeah. I said, hey, select the best for me. So every discipline, they were just selecting athletes because I wanted to keep the data. So all the disciplines performed in, they selected athletes. Then after Casablanca, they said, okay, that year, the Commonwealth Games, the promise they gave athletes, they couldn't go. They couldn't win medals. And so those allowances had been brought back. So Ajide said, oh, Chief, are you ready? I said, yes, I have a team. So we're taking football and athletics to the International School Sports Association game. It's for under 13. Started planning everything. That was in the office when he called me and said, hey, see me immediately. So I got up, you see my office and the sports ministry. He was then the deputy minister for youth and sports. I got in a knock, the secretary told me, oh, he's not there, he's gone. I said, the man just called me that I should come. That was the day he was fired. So I said, he just called that I should come. So they've called him immediately, he's gone out. I said, So I called him, so I'm here. So okay, I'll be back. I'm on my way somewhere, so I went. Not knowing I was called to the presidency to be fired.
Quite unfortunate.
And
but
at the end of the day, we were able to go appear for the first time at the international. We met about 60 countries. And every 2 years, we were to go. So we are in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to prepare for the next one, but COVID came in.
Yes. Then tell me something quick. Because there's always this belief that sometimes, if you go back to schools, sometimes the head teachers don't even value physical education. So it also makes it very difficult for these children to come out. And in fact, we actually even believe that when it is time for physical education, that's the time for everyone to run to their house, especially in our villages. I'm from one. So PE time, we go to the house, we eat and come back.
It was happening. But has
that changed?
Yes, to some extent. But when the leadership itself didn't see anything good with sports, so how do you even monitor those people again? But during my tenure, no. The coordinators were on the ground because every school has a sports secretary who is a member of the district or the zonal sports activity. So they made sure. The sports secretary will not allow it.
Okay. Now, also talk to me about the data. When you assemble these athletes, do you share with the national federations and say that these are the talents we had when we went for event A, B, C? So these talents, if the federations pick them up, they're going to be access to the country.
They come to me themselves. Because during the festival, all of them are assembled to monitor and select. So we work hand in hand. They all know. So some of them, swimming for instance, we don't do swimming inter-schools.
Yeah.
But I was bringing it on board. Fencing. So some of the games I brought on board were fencing, cross-country in the loop. Those that were going the route. No. So I changed cross-country on the road to the loop. You stand there, you see them move from end to end till they finish. We monitor them. Hockey. Hockey was played. How do you get to senior high school and then start training to play hockey?
In fact, that's
so I did junior hockey.
The first time I saw a hockey stick was when I was in secondary school.
But this time around, I established, we played junior hockey. And the Hockey Association provided material, bags of sticks and balls, and all regions had it. The next thing I did was athletics.
Yes.
You see how
that's
athletics
actually
is?
where I was coming to.
Yes, you see how athletics was. You go and sit down, you close your festival with one soccer match. Goal, you close. But I closed my festival with athletics. And anybody who came there was sitting on tongues, because that is what is going to make you either win the festival or lose the championship. So during my tenure, we used athletics to end the festival at the closing ceremony. And when you come there, you have something to actually be happy about.
One interesting thing that actually happened was the fact that I remember the 2017 when I was seated next to my former secondary school headmaster.
Okay.
Yes, he was there. Mr. Bismarck-Puli and then my PA teacher, Peter Averu. They were all there for that. And then my former school, Boko Secondary School, were there.
Oh, Averu was my mate.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
he had
wow.
a brutal accident. Thank God he didn't die.
I heard that was quite
Averu was my mate, yes.
And that was where Larwa Sakat, that girl from Secondary, had an incredible run and all that. Exactly. I remember recently the Ghana Athletics, Ghana Education Service, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports came together to organize athletics championship in Kumasi just recently. Just how important that such synergy, if developed, will be able to bring athletics back to the highest level, because people look at school sports as an era that is non-existent anymore. And in fact, from where I sit, my opinion doesn't matter, but I think that a lot needs to be done if we really, really want to have talents that would fly high the flag of this country.
You see, these were some of my collaboration. I even brought the GFA Okraku to my office. We discussed how we could develop soccer and revamp it. We planned that we were going to create soccer academies in schools across the country. We discussed this. Before I left office, Otia Kenten and I, we got sponsorship from FIFA to play under 15 and select the team and go somewhere.
Regional competitions, yes.
Yes. So that program, Bawa is my close ally, the CEO, athletics.
Yeah. He's not the president.
He's not the president, yes. He comes to my office, we discuss issues. So anytime I organize national festival, for instance, I have the photo finish machine, free of charge.
Yeah.
He comes with his team, they make sure, because as I tell you, that if there was no photo finish, you don't know what it was like. Yes. No, I brought them all on board. So we worked. So I'm not surprised they organized this. But how effectively GS participated is yet to be. I don't even want to go there. So honestly,
you will have to go there because GS is they own the case. They own the children.
They own the kids. They own the children. Yes. So honestly, that program, someone called me that, hey, what is happening? Another Interco in Kumasi. I said, oh, it's not Interco. We're organizing some national something. So if this collaboration comes, yes, it will work at the top, but still not at the grassroots. But if it happens that way, it means all those at the bottom will say, oh, there will be a competition, this level of competition. So they will start preparing towards it and get selected. But that thing that happened, we just had to depend on the good ones that we know. Fortunately, Ashanti region had done their usual interco. Whether there will be national festival or not, whether the director P or national coordinator sends calendar or not, they have their own calendar, old ones. They make sure they do what they should do. And fortunately, the new regional director, Ashanti, Dr. Mankra, he was our colleague.
Oh, okay.
He's a P person, a district P coordinator.
I see.
Yes.
As a man who have occupied the topmost position when it comes to Ghana school sports, what is that advice that you would have to offer for us to bring school sports back to life? The final one, then we wrap up.
Yeah. You see, we need to discuss sports holistically. And whatever is due sports in the national budget, in the national calendar, GES should ensure that, because we have a whole unit, and that unit is enough to trickle down and organize sports at all levels. But if today there's no money, tomorrow there's no money, and things like that, no, we cannot get anywhere. But yes, we can also follow the associations, the various associations that tap from us. Because there is no association in this country that doesn't tap from us. Even fencing, I introduced fencing into the senior high school now. It will interest you to know that our students were playing fencing internationally. But we don't play inter-school fencing in Ghana. But they were playing international, winning laurels. Our students were doing swimming and winning laurels. All the international competition we have in swimming is from our school. So I was there when the secretary walked to my office and said, oh, this is, I said, don't worry. The next time we're doing national festival, we have swimmers all over, across. Yeah. Some are just attached to some organizations. So those schools that are doing, those regions that have our athletes, our students are swimmers. If it's Kumasi, we go to Tech, we'll do swimming. If it's Accra, we'll go to Legon, we'll do swimming. So anytime we have festival this way, even if need be, that all interregional swimming will be taking place in another region where the rest are taking place, I will do it. So you see, we don't have to wait for policymakers to do their own thing. We need to push our agenda too and make sure sports is actually developed. We don't need much. We don't need much. And then also make PE another priority in the level of academic ladder. Colleges should make sure that PE is given what it used to have. They should train more of PE personnel, those who are living. So, you know, sometimes they leave Winneba. When they get to a school, a staff, they say, oh, we don't have time for PE. Can you teach English? Can you teach maths? Then they change you. Some will refuse, some will take it up. So PE personnel should be bold. They should love the profession and pick it up from where it has fallen. Make the noise for policymakers to know that no, it's not working. No, every discipline in Ghana, so far as sports is concerned, they depend on the schools. You can't get them from anywhere else. But if you don't pay attention to it, that is where we have gotten to now.
It appears sports is no longer a priority when it comes to policy decision makers, because if it was, they would be interested in ensuring that at the grassroots level, the right structures are in place to ensure that it trickles up, because you don't invert the pyramid. You need to come from the foundation and climb up there. And one of the things you said that was quite profound for me was the fact that many people actually have now prioritized the book over the physical education side or the sports aspect of it. And if you really want to reposition Ghana sports, then it is important that school sports is given the priority it deserves. Mr. Emmanuel Dormenyah was my guest today on Prime Take. Thank you very much for your time. Continue to enjoy the rest of our programs. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm grateful.
Thank you. Thank you.